Okay, folks, I'm sure you can probably tell that I'm not in the best state of mind right now. Um, I think what I'm like facing really is like burnout right now. I have some serious concerns relating to taxes, paying for taxes, tax returns, that sort of thing. I came out here looking for a printout for my federal tax return. I'm gonna have to probably just completely demolish my room, I guess you could say, looking for, because I have the printout somewhere. Or at least I think I do, unless I somehow lost it, which would be really, really bad news. I know I'm gonna have to pay some late fee because with all this stuff that's happened over the last few months, I've kind of been in recovery mode, and I know the deadline was technically speaking back in May. They extended it, so there's gonna be some late fees to pay, unless they threaten me with some sort of major punishment. It's just gonna be some extra money that I'm gonna have to fork over, which it's not the end of the world, but assuming that's the case, because my taxes were filed, so if my memory serves me correct. Something I need to really learn to do and be on top of. But again, losing your job, and especially for something like what happened, and then just kind of drifting here for the last few months, and then finally getting this job back, and supposed to be starting on Monday, and blah blah blah. It hasn't really been a great last few months, and I've just been sort of putting my nose to the grindstone, knocking out online courses and certifications and all this sort of stuff. Like I've said in the past, trying to get done a few months to what it seems like most people get to stretch out over a few years, and they can kind of ease into it. And I'm having to try to make this huge leap, and man, I think that's kind of why I've been in a state of mind where I've started drifting out towards fantasizing with stuff, thinking about my ex-girlfriend, and certain aspects of their relationship, which were the positive aspects, the good memories, you remember those sorts of things, and the fact that that relationship was abusive, it was mentally unbalanced, it was psychotic, it really messed me up. But there were times where it was kind of you had this girl who, I was physically attracted to her. She was relatively good looking, and she had those times of positive, actual genuine desire for me. And then sort of having the memories of how that all went to hell in a handbasket. And of course, like I said, it was abusive, from her end, and it really messed me up. I think it's probably caused me some health problems, but just because of long-term sleep deprivation, high blood pressure, and anxiety, and that sort of thing. And you're talking about dealing with a girl who had basically all the signs of BPD, they're one of those cluster B personality disorders. But I end up trying to look her up. Obviously I can't find anything on her because she kept a very limited social media presence, and I don't have Facebook anymore, so there's no way I could even look that up, and I wouldn't want to go back to that. But then it leads me on the path of looking up the other Moroccan girl, and all the photos of her online, I can't find any where she's with that guy. I don't know if they're still together or not. Could be, could be not. But it really doesn't matter at this point. But you see these photos of her where she's smiling and she's happy and she's with her friends, and even if her life isn't the millionaire's life, I'm saying where it's all parties and fun and travel and no worries, no anxiety, even if it's just a humdrum life, one thing I know at least with girls like her, they'll rationalize themselves into being okay with that or happy with that. And they would rather prefer that than, you know, a life that might be a little more rewarding but will require effort, you know, on their part. And so, you know, you see all this stuff and it's like, oh, you know, she's happy, she's got what she's wanted out of life, things are falling into place for her. I know that the other guy, he just got hired as an actual engineer and completed his master's and all. You know, you see all this stuff and you just see how, like, you start thinking about how much they hurt you and the chain of events and just what it really means in terms of so many different issues. Because, like, you know, the irony is, like, my experience with that that changed my views on politics, religion, so many different, you know, like geopolitics, how I vote. It changed so much. It was a convergence of so many things, you know, to have like a girl from Morocco come over here, mess with the life of a guy from over here, then get with a guy from Sweden, and, you know, all the other, and then, you know, just seeing the other guys in that whole cohort, you know, basically be like wrapped around her finger and be her little minions, and the relational aggression I dealt with, and this like, you know, 3-year-long attempt to get me to wash out of the program, which I somehow scraped by and got my degree, and just the whole, you know, all the fallout from that, and how it just sort of changed my views on human nature and people, and, you know, it's very much put me in this sort of state of mind of like Daniel Plainview. You know, I just want to make enough money so I can get away from everyone. And, you know, seeing some of Empty Red Cloud's comments, I mean, like, I'd have to go back and look at the exact text of them, but yeah, you know, there are so many of us guys out there who have chased this dream of, like, you know, what used to be considered the norm. Get the degree, get the job, make the money, find the girl, marry her, have a family, you know, 2-story house in the suburbs, white picket fence, blah, 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 that sort of thing. And it seems like that's still possible, but for an incredibly small number of guys, compared to the way it used to be, at least. And it seems to me like we're living in a world where things are moving forward based off of, like, I don't want to say inertia, I think that's, you know, the wrong term physics-wise, but the momentum created by past generations. And it's just sort of chugging along as bits and pieces start falling off left and right. And, you know, you wonder how long it's going to continue to be able to function and move forward like that before enough parts fall off and the machine stops working, it grinds to a halt, and we're stuck wherever we're stuck at that point, as a society and as a world, as a people, as a species, what have you. And you know, as I sit here feeling like, you know, feeling bad, I don't want to say I'm feeling like crap or anything, because, like, I got some things to look forward to, and I got some things to look forward to that a lot of people don't have to look forward to. You know, there are folks out there who have lost their jobs and they weren't able to just, in 2 to 3 months bounce back and get a job and get, you know, taken back at the old workplace, and et cetera, et cetera. Like, I've got some things I can look forward to. You know, if I do my due diligence, I can make the money, I can pay off my debts, I can I can pursue, you know, further coursework, hopefully get my grades up, get into graduate school, masters, all that sort of stuff. But, you know, there's always that sort of question of, like, okay, so I don't want to feel sorry for myself, because, as I've, you know, said in the past, and I think it was like It was like a few years ago. So a lot of stuff is almost like cycles repeating, you know, and I'm sort of going over old ground yet again. But, you know, I don't want to feel sorry for myself. I don't want to wallow in self-pity. And it's not because, like, I don't have a right to feel like that, but it doesn't do me any good. It just makes me feel worse. It, in many ways, lets the others win. And it just, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't, you know, it's not a great thing to do. Though I mean, I find it incredibly hard right now not to drown myself in that, not to go and just straight up, let's say, relapse to PMO. And I had to check like what exact day I'm on right now. I know I posted yesterday a video, but you know, I'm not in the sort of, oh, I'm on day XYZ sort of state of mind. I'm sort of in this, you know, state of emotion and thinking on that and my concerns. And, you know, it's almost like feeling like the walls have closed in a bit and I'm feeling a bit under pressure. I do feel like I have burnt out, or I'm on the verge of burning out. Just trying to push through all these courses and certifications and wondering when I'm going to be good enough for some engineering position. And I see all these other folks who are just like, you know, I'll see their resume, I'll see their list of accomplishments, and I'm thinking like, they don't have anything there. Like, what is it that's making them, you know, so desirable for these employers? Like, what is the secret ingredient that they have that I don't have, that I need to get in order to, you know, make that leap? What is it, you know? You know, it's kind of like asking the question, like what is it about me that makes these girls that I'm head over heels for, go for the other guy? What is it? And people will have their different answers, have their different interpretations, they'll have their suggestions and whatnot. And it's like, you know, what is it? You know, what is it? But, yeah, I don't know, like you look at the world and it's all screwed up and whatnot, but it's like, I don't know what good it is to dwell on that, you know? I mean, it sucks. It sucks reliving a lot of the trauma I've seen, you know, whatnot. And, man, as time goes on, like, there's more and more of these girls that remind me of that girl in college, like certain celebrities, or, you know, girls who, like, I wouldn't know about if there weren't certain social changes that had taken place. Like, these girls who can make gobs of money off of these, like, guys because they're, like, playing a video game when they're streaming it, you know, or they're posting photos of themselves and guys are just gushing over them. And, you know, you just kind of see, like, something that's so fundamentally wrong with their character, so to speak, and the nature of, you know, intergender dynamics as things currently stand, which isn't to say that things weren't ever bad in the past, but, like, you know, I've gone over this stuff. I think back when, I think it was Alex who asked me about, like, the whole, like, concept of true love, and, you know, whether or not I thought it existed, and just, like, you know, talking about how sort of when you live in a society that's in a state of being wherein maybe it's because things have been so good for so long, people haven't had to struggle, you know, to survive. You get to this point where, like, folks believe they can get away with being, you know, horrible individuals, being treacherous and backstabbing and all of that, and just, you know, downright mean to people. And I see that with these girls. I've seen that behavior from other guys as well. And just sort of having that, you know, going through my mind when I'm thinking about, you know, sort of like the I guess the end goal or the end state of all this striving and this struggle and this effort, like, you know, can I ever truly be happy at this point? Can that missing link be filled, at this point? I don't know. I know I can get a sense of fulfillment from getting my finances right, getting my education to the next level, but it always seems like there will always be that missing like final link, and maybe that's just the nature of life. It's kind of like what causes people to still strive and struggle and push forward, because they're not content. And I don't even know if it's a matter of contentment per se, but man, I think there's that classic saying, I need a vacation, but I really do. I need to get out of this place, and because it's like the spot that I'm in, like literally even where I'm sitting in my car, it's like I just have so many of these memories wrapped up, and it's like it keeps playing and playing and playing every day, and my one main dream is like just to have no debt and have enough money that I could just drop everything and get out of here. The folks around me in my room, like they're all right people. My roommates, or my housemates rather, they're all right people, but like it's just, it's unfulfilling to be living here, and it's sort of like causing me to have a replay of all of these bad memories. And you get to a point where you're kind of like, okay, I get it, I understand, I accept it, can I move on now, so to speak? Can I, I was like, did I learn my lesson that I was supposed to learn at this stage of life? Can I move on now? And man, I think so much of this is why I keep sort of nostalgically daydreaming back to like the late 90s, early 2000s, because I think a lot of what it was just like ignorance is bliss, because when you're like a 15-year-old kid, or even if you're like 20 years old or so, I mean, yeah, you could be going through stuff, but you still have that sort of bit of like being a kid, or being just entered into adulthood, and you got your life ahead of you. And back then I could tell all the cynics to like buzz off when it came to, let's say, the waiting till marriage thing, or love and marriage and all that sort of stuff. But now in my mid-30s, like there's just that sort of like jadedness, and I think that's really what I miss about being at that age. It's not that life was objectively better, it's just that I had like that youthful optimism and that hope, or that belief, that faith, that like, yeah, it didn't work out for them, but I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna prove them wrong. I'm gonna have that life that that all of that accomplished, and just to like, and see, I'm imagining, I'm visualizing that girl from college, and just like the smirk on her face, whenever she would like see me like visibly looking sad or run down, or like just uncomfortable, that she knew she was getting to me, and she was really putting the screws to me and making me feel emotional pain. And just like understanding now that like there are people out there like that, who they get pleasure off of hurting others, and then once they've gotten the pleasure they can get from you, they move on. All these things I've learned about life now that put me in this sort of state of mind where, like, I know I don't want to go and relapse to PMO. It's not going to do any good. It's like, and it's like so many of the aches and pains I have nowadays, physically speaking, that I'm so worried about or concerned about. I mean, I know that's from PMO, I mean, it'd be kind of like if you had really really bad problems trying to breathe, let's say. And you knew you didn't have some infectious disease. You knew it wasn't because like you had an actual constricted, breathing passage, but just in general, like day in, day out, you just had problems breathing, and it's like, okay, and you were also a chain smoker, like whether you wanted to admit it or not, somewhere there you would know that was a major contributing factor. It's the same thing with me with, these muscle aches and pains and back pain and abdominal pain and knee pain and so on. It's like, I know so much of that is because of that, and I don't want to go back to that because, I'll get that temporary rush, but see, it's never truly what it could be. You're not with some beautiful woman who, is your one and only, and you're her one and only, or at least, you got the illusion of, she's willing to make the effort to keep up the illusion because she wants you to be happy, because if you're happy, then you'll be with her and she'll be happy as a result. And you and her make sweet love, and you get that feeling of connection and intimacy, and it's something out of this world. Like even with my ex-girlfriend, whenever we would kiss or we'd make out, it's like it would be like a million times better, a trillion. I don't know how I could quantify it, but it would be so much better than fantasizing about it. It would be real. It would be spontaneous. There was something there. The neurochemical reactions, whatever you want to boil it down to, but the feeling of it, the experience of it was way better than any fantasy ever could be. And that's so much the thing with fapping. It's like it becomes, I don't know what. It becomes all about finishing and not experiencing, not taking time, not sharing, not being with that person, in my case, that, woman who I desire, and vice versa, and it's just, man. So I don't know what to say. Like, as much as I agree with a lot of the comments lately, and I do appreciate people tuning into this channel and subscribing and all that, because like, I guess the most I can offer in terms of content is like, okay, this is the journey of a guy who's struggling and not giving up entirely, and maybe I'm still making progress, and maybe that some people want to see, someone they can relate to, or so. Someone who's not perfect and is obviously made mistakes, and is obviously like working forward in life and trying to make sense of things and overcome stuff. But yeah, that's kind of where things currently stand. Assuming I can find that printout, which right now I just really want to go get something tasty to eat and just try and chill out for a bit before I go and do that. I wish there was so much more to my life right now. I wish for the sake of my subscribers, I could be like, hey guys, look where I'm at. I'm up in the mountains, and I'm at some resort, and let me take you around and show you how great this is, and all smiles and whatnot, and then have some beautiful woman there with me, and a bunch of friends, and fun, and it could be one of those sorts of like, one of those sorts of vlogs where it's like people could be like, at the very least, living vicariously through myself and through my actions, and they could, at least be like, oh, wow, that looks really cool, or that's really fun looking, or, what have you, and maybe they'd find out where they want to go on a vacation, or maybe they, just have some fun killing a few minutes, so to speak, and seeing something like that, but right now, like I said, I just want to go get something tasty to eat, chill out for a bit, and then I'll probably go look for that You know, if I gotta pay some penalty fee, fine, I'll pay that. Probably gonna have to make a money order because I don't have a checkbook, and it's because, like, I mean, look, I got a checkbook way back when I lived, you know, with my folks, but like I've never really had to pay for things with check. Probably have to go do a money order, maybe at like a Western Union to get that taken care of. But man, I don't know. I wish I had some woman to share my life with, but maybe that's really the thing. I don't know. Oftentimes I think that a lot of that is just sort of like a lagging indicator of success. Like, you know, oh, look at me, I've made it because I have a woman in my life. That's an indication that I've made it, that I'm making good money, I'm, in great shape and high status, great social skills, blah, blah, blah. But, you gotta work with what you got. And right now, what would make me feel accomplished probably would be not only getting that lunch, but finding my printout for my tax returns, completing the course I'm working on, and then either today, tomorrow, Monday, sometime this next week, to make that money order and pay my taxes with the late fee, because apparently I made too much money this last year, and for some reason the right amount didn't get paid, and now I owe them some money. So anyways, I gotta try to stay away from social media and stay away from those sorts of things that inevitably feed into a mentality that says that, man, your life sucks, and here's why you should feel like crap, and and that's something I would suggest to anybody out there. Like, take away from this video, be like, just you gotta stay away from things that make it seem like your life is so horrible, and basically give you an unrealistic assessment of your life, And I suppose this is kind of like why maybe some folks who have it so good, they end up getting into drugs and such, because they don't really have a metric by which to measure how good their life is. Maybe they haven't had to work for it, maybe they inherited it, I don't know. But it's sort of a dangerous game to play where you get into that sort of state of mind where you think everything sucks when maybe it doesn't entirely suck. There's some good things to it. But yeah, and I have some other ideas from other videos that would just be sort of my philosophical ramblings on life, where that's maybe where I'll get into some of those topics which I said I don't want to talk about, but I would have to sort of touch off on them in such a manner that I'm not like, I guess you could say, not just identifying myself, but like identifying myself with any particular group or movement or faction or what have you, because I'm also of the mind that the world we live in is such where it's like the only real cause is like the only real cause worth striving for is self-preservation and self-advancement. And I think a lot of the reason why a lot of people are so angry these days and so frustrated is because they, and this is, you could put this in the context of like the red pill, for instance, believing that there was this sort of cause or this sort of project or this sort of like aim to be striving for that turned out to be all like a fiction, Maybe I could be talking on that in due time, but I probably would want to sit down and like flesh out my thoughts so I can actually say something concrete, and maybe not ramble on for half an hour. So anyways, just gonna go get lunch right now, and we'll see how things unfold from there. But I do appreciate, folks tuning in, subscribing, watching my videos, leaving comments, creating sort of a dialogue, if you will. It really does help me in terms of my mental state, because I don't really have many folks to talk to, especially not honestly, because so much of what I see out, and maybe it's the area I live in, but at least in the world as I experience it, is like living in this world where you have to sort of give out this fake persona of just like cordiality and friendliness and happiness, and you can't be like, here's how I really feel. Folks don't want to hear that, probably because they're not feeling too great either, and maybe they feel there's nothing they can really do about it, and they're just trying to get on through life. So anyways, enough of me talking for now. I will hopefully see you folks around, maybe with some better content. But yeah, take it easy, take care, stay strong, and don't give up. Bye bye.